Yo, what's good? It's Skano from the gutter. So, 74-year-old Larry Hoover, founder of the GDs, had his sentence commuted by Trump, and I don't know how to take this because it's like it's not a pardon, So people, kind of getting ahead of things. He's not, you know, they commuted his sentence on a federal level. Now dude did 50 some years. I believe he 52 years or something. For alleged, killing that took place in I believe 76, 72, sometime in the 70s. Uh, it's, it's speculation regarding whether, he actually committed this murder. A lot of people believe he was framed, and feds just wanted Hoover off the streets, and they put together something, you know. But he ended up with 6 life sentences. I don't know how you get 6 life sentences from one body, but these people can do whatever they want, man. Which is evident by his sentence being commuted after 52 years. So, uh, but as I said, I think he was looking at 600 years, some crazy shit, and they hit him with another, I think, racketeering in '97. So they tacked on, a little extra, just to, what I'm saying, good measure, because they really intended for him to never touch the streets again, and you know, that still is not a certainty, because from what I understand, he is still looking at some state charges, from that same body, I believe, with Chicago, the city of Chicago. So it very well may still, they may pick this up. I don't know, man. I would think that after you've done a half a century, at the Fed level, that would just, you know, they would just fully exonerate, you know what I'm saying, commute the entire sentence. But I don't. That's not how it works. Especially, you know, when the feds put together something, and they want it to stick. They don't appreciate whether it's Trump, whoever, they don't appreciate the, sentences being commuted. Like I said, they intended for Hoover to die in prison, and but as be it as it is, he very well, So this could go either way, man. He could end up, seeing the streets again, or like I said, the state could pick this back up because he's still looking at a couple hundred years on the state level. So a lot of people feel like he was overly demonized, just based on the fact that he actually founded GDs. What the GDs became, what folk, what it is now in the present day is night and day from what the organization that Hoover founded. Now, I'm not saying that, you know, they was Boy Scouts, but the gang construct as it is today is nothing, you know what I'm saying, like it used to be. And like I said, initially gangs were founded to protect the community, from outsiders, or any perceived threat, you know, and they got demonized for it. But once the criminal activity kind of, what I'm saying, became ingrained in it, because like organizations like the Black Panthers, like I said, GD, and a lot of the gangs that original gangs that were founded, Bloods, Crips, or whatever. Now, Bloods and Crips, towards that's when it started taking a turn towards. But originally, man, it wasn't what it is today. You know what I'm saying? It was not black on black killing each other. It was, like I said, and when you had leaders taken out of, and I'm like I said, we not acting like Larry Hoover was Obama, but at the same time, he was not, Hitler either. So it's like, once you take the leadership out of it, which, you know what I'm saying, you have a power struggle. And oftentimes, what happens with I don't care what organization you're talking about, once the original founders got put up or out the way, a lot of these gangs just, it became something else. But as far as Hoover, people, I've heard discussion that he's going to be taking the forefront and, trying to end the war, the Chirac war. And it's like, I don't know, man, because dude, he disowned anything to do with GD and gang, affiliation in general for obvious reasons. You're trying to distance yourself from that and hope that this day would come. So it could have been Cap, you know what I'm saying, as far as him denouncing it, but the whole time. But you would have to think if he had any real control or any real power from in there, with things have been playing out the way they are in Chirac right now. You know what I'm saying? So how much control, how much authority did he really have? And that, I'm saying once he got put up. And once you get put up, man, I don't care what, you're going to get your respect. People going to, say what, is expected. But on these streets, man, it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? Your control, your power, I don't care. Like I said, Larry Hoover could not control what was going on, maybe initially, but after a while, you looking at football numbers, dude, it's like, he never, new leadership, people have their own idea how they want things to progress. Boo boo. I'm getting off track, but dude may very well, you didn't spend 50 years in prison, man. You may, I mean, you paid your debts to society, some would say, and it's like dude may just want to go somewhere and chill, man. You know, he may feel like, listen, I have nothing more. Like I said, he did say he denounced anything. So to expect him to, at this age, at this stage of his life, under the circumstance, and that's if he get past this state shit, because that's yet to be, to expect him to, it's kind of far fetched, man. I will believe, but like I said, a lot of people feel like, you know, dude has paid his debt to society, you know, and there are many others who feel like he may have paid his debt, to society, in a legal sense, but there are still a lot of people that feel like he is in debt to the black community, you know, and as I said, man, what came after Larry Hoover, you can't necessarily lay all that on his feet, but is there an obligation for dude seeing that the state of the black community, the inner cities, particularly Chicago, you know, is there an obligation for him to, like I said, come forward, to take a stand against the violence, or, you know, it is what it is, man. 216 Skano, you already know.